other guys.
I don't recall, apart from the violence that was meted out in 2008, this kind of repression that I'm seeing, the beating up of lawyers, Maduku, the almost mantling of Doug. Describe to me what you're experiencing and what you're seeing.
I think that what is carrying out now is systematic. It's planned. It's deep-rooted. It's systemic. I lived through Gukuraundi, but I wasn't a victim.
Yeah.
Like I come from Mashonaland. Yeah. But I lived through 2008. 2008 was planned. I can see a deliberate plan. There's a command center somewhere that is actually sitting to plan this whole thing. In 2023, it was FAS that set and planned. So I believe that there is a clique, a group with components from the military, components from the intelligence, components from the police that are planning this.
No, vamwe vachituka vaMnangagwa. Urishura. Jesu. Nekuti mumuromo mavo ndo munobva mablessings enyika ino. VaMnangagwa vachitaura. Mose waMwari ataura.
The arrogance of Emmerson Mnangagwa should be studied, honestly, because wow, I cannot. When I tell you that something is wrong with him, people think I'm just hallucinating, but honestly, let's look at the tweet that was sent out by Tavani Mupofu. Okay. Tavani Mupofu said, "This is what you did to our people because you wanted to remain in power. Now a thief has come with pile loads of cash and is taking the thing right from under your noses. Come out, have its due. The only way to redemption is through halting the demon you have unleashed. Born family in your court and we will cheer you on if you ever show yourself to be a man. But after that, we'll fight you." All right, I don't know who he's referring to, but honestly, you guys can see that picture. Can't for the life of me even imagine that as a people we are capable of doing such heinous crimes, hating our own brothers, but then we welcome outsiders to feast and leave Makomba for us to close. We need to have a conversation about this, guys. What is it that is really going on, or what is it that is in us that make us hate our own, but rather embrace outsiders? And there's nothing wrong with that, trust me. We also need to love people. But is it worth it? Is it really worth it? What we have been through for the past 4 decades. Pain after pain after pain. Mr. Kudata Gwire, he thinks we are playing games. Oh, by the way, he also have touched the nerve. I must tell you that, especially the way he's messing up with the church. The church belongs to God. It doesn't belong to any man. So if you think you can come in and do all your dirty stuff, watch and see how this is going to play out. God will fight for his church. I can also see that Mnangagwa goes personal with Chiwenga. Heavily personal. But I need to send some love and light to my lady because Minnie's not having it and she's not even pretending. Maybe that's one of the reasons why she said what she said.
Respect is earned. If you are a person, you mustn't expect people to respect you if you are not worthy being respected. You cannot demand respect from people if you are not worth it. So from today, I challenge you to go out there, create a brand for yourself. Tell yourself what kind of woman you want to be. Groom yourself to be that woman.
Yes, madam.
When you speak, is it in a way that people want to be associated with you? Or you are that person who say anything from their mouth? So the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you dress, the way you respect other people, it will make people to respect you. Thank you.
All right, it's that time where those that have joined me for the first time press their subscription button and turn on the notification one for the alerts. To my lovers, stick around, guys. Thank you. Don't forget to thumbs up the video and also share with others. Let's move on.
Marege kuwabvunza kuti makwanisa nekuenda kubasa zvamauya ndina shungu dzokuti vaende kubasa, ndine shungu dzoupenyu hwavo kuti vasimba, ndo shungu dzangu. Sezvo munhu abva ndeida kuti nyangwe vakazinza ngavaende kubasa vaibate basa padiki nepadiki vazotutsira zvavo asi ita padiki nepadiki, ndozvona. Asi ndakasungunuka ndoukamuona kuti munhu ane chiedza akachena kumeso, ndomuzvona. At a personal level, I am extremely relieved that my brother is back and is in a good health. It was something that affected me personally. Now, as president, I'm happy that the vice president is back and is fit.
My prayer is to have the kind of grace Chiwenga has, because I don't know how he's doing it. Imagine saving the very same man who wanted you dead, because it's on record. Well, you must never forget that Mary, who is ex-wife to Chiwenga, told a doctor in South Africa that Mnangagwa sent him to delete her husband, Chiwenga. You guys know what we've been through, right? Now I can see Mnangagwa wiggle his way into this glorious marriage that we're all seeing. I may not know what's going on behind the curtain, but what I'm seeing right now in my face is I'm seeing people are just having a time. They exercise together, laugh together, just having a good time. That's what I'm seeing. But Emmerson Mnangagwa doesn't want to see it. Mnangagwa believes that he's the only one who deserves to be happy. Everyone else should live like they're in hell. You see, yesterday we did a video where we dived into the spirituality part of Emerson. And where we are here, and all these Vanakuda Tegbere, which was exposed by Rutendo Matinyarare. But I'm not surprised. I think many Zimbabweans knew that there is somewhere an altar of evil that is controlling the happenings in the country. But I must also not forgetting that Zanu PF on its own, it is hell. Okay, Zanu PF as a party is like you're in hell. One of my ladies said, it's like a house where bullets are just being fired across the wall from corner to corner. Because there's no peace. You wonder the way they fight. Some of the words that get spoken there. But when you see them in meetings, you just see these negative energies around. You ask yourself, why are you punishing yourselves, brothers and sisters? Life is so beautiful out here. Because life is not to be endured, it is to be enjoyed. But imagine spending your time fighting. In fact, I hate that they don't even use cups at work. In fact, people bring their cups to work. You can't even drink the water at work. Guys, no, this is not life. This is prison or hell on earth. But Brother Kuda has crossed a line. He really has crossed the line. I want to tell you that I personally suspect Kuti, the fight you get come AFM criminals were behind it, or they are still behind it. In fact, we saw them recently when they were giving money in the church, and most people in the church think that they are being loved. No, these guys are criminals. They are buying you to silence so that they can continue suppressing you, controlling your souls with no pushback. It's not love, it's deception. The Bible says Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. And I've always tell you that in life, especially in this era we live in, you don't need to know the difference between right and wrong, because right and wrong is easy to spot. I mean, we've learned that over the years, but almost right and right. So almost right is this kind of, I'm giving you, I'm donating. No, it's not donation. It's buying you into silence so that they can still oppressing you without no question. Because only a few receive the cars, but the rest are suffering. Even the nurses, as they are now today, even protesting in the country, they're also saying, we also want raptors. Because we have seen you giving a few cars. What about us who are earning peanuts? Imagine getting 1,000 zigs, almost like $20 US. Shame on us as a country. When billions and billions are being spent on stupid things. Did you actually saw what happened during the Independence Day? Many of these guys, criminals, flew to the Independence using their choppers, my helicopters, my jets, and so forth. Meeting poverty-stricken people. And the worst thing was that even the spokesperson, I think that is actually Nick Mangwana could not post Zimbabweans. He only posts white people because he was ashamed of the poverty they've created. When I look at the war veterans, my heart breaks because I literally said, I can only imagine if there was exchange of power in 2000, allowing the opposition to lead. I guarantee you with my life that right now, the military generals and the chiefs would be the big boys. And most of our generals who were all eliminated would be alive today. I swear with my life. The war veterans, you know, when you hear that a war veteran is dead in other countries, you're like, what? They are being treated with so much respect and honor. But under Mnangagwa, they are being treated like nothing. Imagine giving an old person a bicycle that you have stolen billions and billions from. That's how we've been treated like nothing by criminals. It's shameful. But you know that these guys are doing as they please. Because you'll be shocked that the guy that was caught, you know, on his way to delete Chiwenga and Sanyatwe has been freed. He's not a free man. Is there anyone who ever committed crime, these gangs, and even be prosecuted? None whatsoever. They walk freely. I can never forget that guy that was seen broad daylight with an AK-47. He ran after the member of parliament, the young boy. May God bless his heart, Takudzwa. Everyone saw it. The next weekend, he was actually gallivanting by the golf club, playing njuga. But he was after a young boy who was later abducted and tortured. Untouchable. This is why I said I have respect for Mnangagwa for one thing. He comes out. All these structures, I created them. And if you say anything, they know who their godfather is. The guy is literally confessing his criminality in front of the people. And then that's what I don't understand. That why do we always want to wait for power exchange? Not a principle though. Because that statement on its own would warrant Mnangagwa to be sent packing. Because you can't tell me that a president of a country has the nerve to stand before the people and say, all these structures of criminality that you're seeing, these gangs, I created them. And if you do anything, they know who their godfather is. And still come back tomorrow and we salute him. Something's wrong with us. We need to up our standards. You see this? But let me read the reports. So Mnangagwa frees Chiwenga's hitman. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has ordered the release of an operative accused of plotting the assassination of Vice President Chiwenga. Police on Friday arrested military intelligence officer as the presidential guard, Major Albert Tizwa, on allegations of assault and kidnapping. At the time of his arrest, Tizwa had just left the offices of Mnangagwa ally Kudakwasha Tagwire. He was found in possession of an unregistered AK-47 rifle and a bag of money. He was subsequently charged with 5 counts of assault and 6 counts of kidnapping. Sources say Tizwa was operating under the directive of Mnangagwa with financing from Tagwire on a separate assignment linked to an alleged plot targeting Chiwenga. Following Mnangagwa's order, Tizwa was released and his money and rifle were returned to him. The release raises renewed concerns over Chiwenga's safety. Tizwa is among individuals assigned to a mission targeting the vice president and others linked to him. He's a free man. The brother is a free man. You can see him. He looks like he laid the arrogance. Of course, that is the culture within the gang. You think you're above everybody. I have bad news for you. You will be held accountable one day, and you will wish you never met Emerson Mnangagwa, because let me tell you this, many are going to be thrown under the bus. I think you can see letters that are flying across social media. You can see people jumping ship. They can say, no, I'm not going to be dragged into this mess. Kudakwasha Tagwire is Mnangagwa's preferred successor. So you can't separate the two. Okay, there is no way that Kuda would be behaving the way that he does. In fact, he actually has guards, like really presidential guards. You're being prepared for the throne. He's being prepared for the throne. That will never happen. Not as long as we live. A criminal belongs in jail. Take a listen.
Why is 2013 constitution a threat to Zanu PF or to Mnangagwa specifically?
It was never a threat to him until he got persuaded that you need to stay longer. And there are many factors here that are critical.
But he says he doesn't want that. He says he's a constitutionalist and he will abide by what his party says. What's happening here, Tendai? The man says one thing, his party acts in another way. He sits over a cabinet that approves the bill.
I think that myth has been exposed for what it is, a big lie. Mm-hmm. The removal, for instance, on the weekend of Jesse Majome is done by the president. So he can't hide behind anything. He can't hide behind anyone. And Jesse Majome is being removed because
the chair of the Zimbabwe Human
Rights Commission, because she dared to have a press conference that attacked not just CAB 3, but also the facial, pathetic processes that were conducted by Parliament on the 30th and 31st of March. And like a maid, she's removed. But the Constitution is very clear. She has security of tenure, and she can only be removed like a judge through a tribunal and proven charges. That on its own shows who is in charge. That on its own shows whose agenda it is. This agenda is owned by people who want to lengthen this term so that they can continue implementing and executing the agenda of personal accumulation and personal aggrandizement. So people's bottom lines are on the line here.
Am I reading there from what you're saying, Tendai, that it's being promoted by people who are going to benefit? Is it Mnangagwa who's going to benefit from this process, or there's somebody else choreographing this for their own benefit? Is it his family that's going to take place? Is it business people that are around him? What are you reading into all this?
I think we can't absolve President Mnangagwa. We can't absolve him. He is so powerful and he holds so much power that he can stop this thing on the click of a finger. He can simply say and instruct Mutenda to withdraw this bill. He can simply announce and say, whatever you are doing, I'm not going to sign any bill. That bill needs his signature, not anyone else. But we know from the removal of Jesse Majome, for instance, that he is directly directly involved. We know from the impunity that is taking place, the violence that is taking place against people like Maduku, myself, and everyone, Dark Colton, the fact that those people are going scot-free, the fact that people calling themselves mafia for ED can come out threatening a registered lawyer or any other citizen, the buck stops with the president. But around the president, there are interested parties in his tenure, in his longevity. There's a group of businessmen we call Gananda, people with no legitimacy other than their proximity to the seat of power, other than their proximity to the seat of power for the purposes of getting multiple illicit contracts. I was the chair of the Public Accounts Committee. I can write a book about Command Agriculture and how it was looted by certain individuals. I was the chair of the Public Accounts Committee. I can write a book about how energy, how power has been used to loot the Zimbabwean state, starting with fuel. We consume around $3 billion worth of fuel every year, which is controlled by cartels that control the pipeline, which is controlled at the wholesale sector. They now own and control a Noxim or Petrotrade, which is controlled at the retail sector. There are essentially 2-3 retailers of fuel here. The Secunda Tagwire Empire, the Zuva Empire. Total is a small player. Engen is a small player. It's the same cartels that are controlling.
So it's economic interests that are behind it.
Yes, they are now controlling the Mutapa Fund.
I'm going to.
Just a quick note and a really serious announcement. Speak to your family members who never accept these offers from Russia, because now we have lost almost 18 Zimbabweans. I know we are desperate for jobs, but trust me, just be a bit patient. Things are going to turn around in Zimbabwe very soon. So when I see these reports, my heart bleeds. Speak to your family members. Please spread the word. These Russian deals are just fake. People are being abused badly. I don't even know why President Emerson Mnangagwa has not said anything yet, because Ramaphosa spoke on behalf of his people. They were returned. I'm really expecting Mnangagwa to speak out right now and free Zimbabweans from these criminals, because these guys are criminals. They hoodwink our people and then abuse them. It is evil and wrong. It should be called out. Anyway, these are good news. You hear what Tendai said, is giving you all the background, right? It's very clear. They were simply being given the blessing by Emerson. With Emerson Mnangagwa, I will keep on saying this. The guy could not even qualify to be a councillor, and even to be a good citizen in the country because of his behavior. But you know why? He started the people in Zanu PF. If you guys can actually watch most of the rallies or meetings that were happening in Zanu PF, you will see Mnangagwa in his own ward. If you think I like, just try one. And when Mnangagwa is and see him sitting, he's in his own ward. Meaning he was plotting, playing them big time, all the way. That's why it's dangerous as leaders not to be intentional. When you're a leader, always do checks and balances. What's happening? Where are we now? Who's doing what? Be present. But Mugabe was drunk in an illusion. The chaos in the country. Imagine, you leave power around 90. Sometimes I wonder if we are serious, because we're actually not. We are entertaining too much of nonsense. We need to up our games as Zimbabweans, because we are the most richest country, but yet poor. Not because we don't have what we need. No, because we are tolerating nonsense. Okay? We need to up our games and say, no, you don't treat us like animals. We deserve respect. And you heard me saying, if you think that you demand respect without respecting others, it doesn't work. That's what life is about. Respect is earned. So there's fire on the mountain in Zanu PF. The fight is intensifying. And when there's fight in Zanu PF, I'm like, yes, Lord. I think Tavan was right. We cheer you on, yo. Fight! Big time. I'm not surprised, but it reminds me of a scripture, 2 Chronicles 2:20. I love it. When Jehoshaphat was face to face with the battle, and God gave him an instruction, because he went to God in prayer, and God gave him an instruction. He said, Jehoshaphat, I want you to praise me. That's all that you're going to do. Don't do much. You and your people praise me. And when they begin to dance, praising God, he sent an ambushment, and they began to kill each other. People turned, wow. Most of them, they were just dead bodies on the floor, and they were taking their gold, their gifts, their houses, their riches. That's the season that we're in. Fight. You thought you could plant evil and get away with it. It doesn't work like that in life. What you sow is what you reap. I know some of you have taken money from the state and thinking you're smart. To go on, cars after cars after cars, to go on helicopters and so forth. Your time to pay for your sins is on the horizon. And by the way, I know some people thought I could not, they were saying that, no, don't talk about Tungwara's daughter because she's a baby. No, she just turned 18. We saw her having this lavish birthday where the father even gave her a house. She was money all over the place. Our hard-earned money is being spent on useless stuff. And you think God will remain quiet? Life don't work that way. Because ZANU-PF Youth League wrote a letter. I've told you people are jumping ship. They're like, I'm not. I know Mnangagwa is going to. I mean, there's a picture that is circulating where Mnangagwa's son, Emerson Jr., is leaning down and, on Chiwenga and so forth. Deception. 46 million. And John Paradza, which I know that he has wrong. Because we know behind all this is Emerson Mnangagwa. Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. There is no way that billions can be looted under his watch. There's no way that he can be richer than the country. Where did he get the money from? But I didn't blame him. Destroyed all the companies for ZANU-PF. Looted billions. The companies, my company is a government. Under your watch. And I'm not judging you fathers, but I'm just saying things so that at least we can learn one or two things and do things differently. Because if we don't take accountability, we'll never learn or we'll never change. Because we should learn and change, right? So let me read the reports. Because the letter that was sent out. And there's another letter again, because I actually heard that Kudata Gwire had also offered to give them stands. So I'm going to that one. Let's just deal with this one first, the money issue. The land, I'm going to deal with in the next video. It's very important for you to know. Don't bring Pali into disrepute. ZANU-PF warns Chivayo. The ZANU-PF Youth League has described as misguided a 3.6 million donation to members of parliament, both the National Assembly and Senate, by businessman Wikno Chivayo. In a statement, the League's Deputy Secretary John Paradza said the misguided donation gives an impression that compromises a key arm of the state. However, as the Youth League, we strongly stand against any attempts, real or perceived, to influence any arm of government, be it the executive, the judiciary, the August House of Parliament, Paradza said. The statement further said, Parliament is the backbone of democracy where the desires, needs and aspirations of the Zimbabwean people are turned into laws, oversight and accountability. Members of Parliament are already supported through constitutionally recognized mechanisms such as the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, and at no point has the government indicated any inability to meet these obligations. The Devolution Fund, distributed to all provinces, is also being used to undertake a number of developmental projects. Devolution funds have successfully empowered local authorities to drive infrastructure development, particularly in rural areas, by focusing on health, education, and water access, reads part of the statement. The government, under His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, remains fully in control of the country's developmental agenda. The resources of meaningful development are firmly in place, said Paradza. The full statement is below. Interesting. I think some of you have seen the statement is well circulating online, but I just wanted to pick up what the ZFM also reported. I need to look at the interest in this interesting comment, because knowing the deception of ZANU-PF, it's important to also pay attention to this tweet. So Charlene P. Chikomo said, One of big things the hegemony uses is its youth league and women's league for narrative farming. So before we jump and claim for the statement, check whether this is not one of those sanitizers of CAB 3 at work through the Youth League to create the impression that Parliament is not compromised to vote for the president and that through ZANU-PF there are internal safeguards and accountability mechanisms that keep Parliament pure, which we know is not guaranteed in practice. That is the performance, that is the script, that is how legitimacy is manufactured. A few pages into Manufacturing Consent by Chomsky and the prison writings of Gramsci, and you read these moments with caution. We are better than this. The last time this was done without approval, Senencam was the result. We are not fools. I completely agree with him because we know that Mnangagwa is a deceiver. So he really tried to thrive on playing Zimbabweans. So even those youth league, if they are signing these letters just deceiving Zimbabweans, they're not deceiving Zimbabwe, they're deceiving themselves and the future of their children. I don't understand what is wrong with us Zimbabweans. I hope and pray that they are right or they may be true, or it's just an issue of saying, hey, we don't want to be dragged, we don't want to be dragged by Kudata Gure, because remember, there's an issue of Kudata Gure who should be succeeding Mnangagwa, which is again a problem because people know that Chiwenga who succeeded Mnangagwa, that without a shadow of a doubt, Chiwenga will succeed him. But you know that Mnangagwa and Kudata Gure have their own voice out here. That is Temba Mliswa. He hits back at Machakaire because last week he also tweeted attacking Machakaire. So I'm sure Machakaire is like, Temba, leave me alone. But let's read his response. Oh, so the Youth League can talk. Why a naive reading of this scenario can frame the Youth League as protecting the integrity of Parliament. This actually the clearest indication of a faction entity that is frantically fending off what it views as an attack on its ambitions. As a vanguard of the party, it has been important in the past while the party was being seriously destabilized in explicit words. It had opportunities to justify its existence and duty, but dismally failed. Yet it has the guts to comment on propositions, assumptions, and issues that are still hearsay. Why not allow Parliament to address its own matters in due time, as it is run by capable leaders like Honorable Mudenda, who is also Secretary General of the party? Instead of jumping the gun, Parliament has its own structures which can speak for themselves and don't require the excitable and fake integrity of Youth League to bring moralizing statements while perched on a factional ledge. Chiva has not even donated the said money yet, and the Youth League is already throwing tantrums. Why was it silent when party stability was being appended and the VP was plainly undermining his superior, the president, in the Politburo? Either the Youth League is now totally a factional arm of the VP, or Motori Muhende Henyu, you allowed your leader to be undermined by someone he appointed to office, and it had to take the likes of Comrade Matuke and Mai Chimuchinguri to stand. This is the worst Youth League in a long time, with only a few like Kandishai displaying enough gravitas to warrant being part of it. All right, so I think the youth in ZANU-PF do not want to stand with Koshta Gure. That is the bottom line. They don't want their hands because they know that once Ngoma yarira mu Zimbabwe, kucha manyi wakare. But this time around, you're going absolutely nowhere. You have to pay for your sins. But never forget that power will always protect itself. Because what I can see now, Mnangagwa knows that he's heavily cornered. He can't escape. Okay, so he will do what is right for him and his kids. But the issue is, what about you, the gangs, who are overexcited, being promised by Kudata Gure that he may ascend to the throne? Kudata Gure will not ascend to the throne. Kudata Gure will be heading to Chikurubi. That's all I can tell you, without doubt. I know that very soon heads will be rolling. When are we going to do the right thing, Zimbabweans? And I know that it's not all of us, but when I speak about Zimbabweans, because all these guys who are misbehaving are Zimbabweans. They're Zimbabweans. You think you can steal billions of the country, and you can come back and when all of a sudden claim to be a billionaire with no track record of hard work, except stealing, muzzling on people. The information is out there. It's shameful. It is shameful. Mnangagwa knows what he's doing. He's just throwing them under the bus. That's how he plays. He's been doing it over the years, using people in dump. I think the late Comrade Geza, may his soul rest in peace. He said it. He said, you don't know this guy. He will use you and dump you. Also, I do remember Manjens said the same thing, that these guys will be eliminated. They actually don't know because they're just being used. But Zimbabweans never learn, because everyone always thinks that, no, I think I'm loved. Hey, in the words of Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. Mnangagwa is showing you over and over and over and over and over and over. But some people choose to see something else that he is not. But he has never hid his personality. It's us who create illusions to feel good about ourselves. But I want you to know, all is ending soon. Tell me what you think in the comment section, guys. I want to hear your thoughts. I love you so much. God bless you, and God bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.